Hello, Wade Cox here, and welcome to the Ski with Wade podcast. I've been involved with this sport of water skiing for over 40 years now. I was fortunate enough to be a professional, and now I'm a full-time water ski coach. Today's guest and I will be talking about water skiing. We'll also be talking a little bit about travel and maybe a little about life as well. Thanks for joining us today. Ski with Wade, Cutmore Road. Hey guys, welcome. Ski with Wade podcast today. A little Wade's World today with my good buddy, Benjamin Stadlbar. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks, Wade. Thanks for having me.
So Ben is a professional water skier, and Ben, your family is very attached to water skiing as well. We're here at Ben's home in Groveland, Florida at the Swiss Ski School.
Yeah, so third generation skiers, actually. My grandfather was the first one, ran a ski school over in Belgium. Now my parents got the chance to take over the business here at Swiss about 10 years ago now. And so we've been running Swiss for 10 years. And so my brother and I would be third generation skiers. So yeah, we're in it.
So Ben is from Switzerland. You are the Swiss national record holder for 41?
Yeah, 41. The record was 3 from Fred. I was able to tie. And then in 2020, I was finally able to push through and get that extra buoy and get 4 and have the record since. Nice.
And you've also got some pretty world-class podiums. You've podiumed at Moomba, which is like maybe the scariest place outside of Callaway Gardens to actually ski as a slalom skier, correct?
Yeah, no, that was definitely special. I have a few podiums, maybe ballpark around 10, I would say, on the Pro Tour. A couple different spots, but most of them, half of them actually come from Moomba. So I've got 2 during the day, I think, 2 third-place finishes, and then they do the night slalom, and I've got, I think, 2 or 3 podiums.
Yeah, that means he's nails. If you can ski on the river with current, you're nails. Yeah, without a doubt. And you've also podiumed at Junior Worlds, so you were not just you were a rising star right through.
Yeah, the under 21s. So the Junior Worlds, I had 1. I made the finals. I didn't ski particularly well in the final. Maybe came 7th or 8th. I don't remember exactly. But the under 21s served me well. I got the chance to ski in 2 Worlds as an under 21 and came second both times. Once behind Nate, actually, when he was really strong at the time already, but we didn't really know how strong he was, and it was the beginning. And the second time to Steven Neville.
Which was just around the corner here at Hancock.
At Hancock, exactly.
Yeah. So before we go any further, I want everyone to go to my website if possible. Check out the merch. We got new auto trucker caps. They're legit, very cool. We've got some sun hoodies. Got them in 3 colors. Everyone's really been digging these, so please check it out. Also, any of my old podcasts will be on there. You can just click on and listen, and then any Ski with Wade dates that I will be posting. So also the webcast. So let's talk about your little brother's involvement. We talk about the family business, the Waterski Broadcasting Company, TWBC. That's been kind of a neat deal for water skiing, hasn't it?
Yeah, so that's Vince, my little brother, who I'm very proud of. He puts a lot of work into it because I think he has a lot of passion. I think it comes from wanting to showcase the sport and the athletes. I think he's always been into photography and filming, and it kind of evolved and developed over the years. And he, in a way, fell into webcasting. I'm not going to say by accident, but it just kind of happened. And I think it was the perfect combination for him to be able to be in the sport and combine all his passions, meaning skiing, photography, filming. And I think that's what TWBC is now. It's obviously grown, and he's got help from a lot of people, but he's behind it and he pushes it. And I think that, for even us as skiers or the audience, fans, is a really neat deal to be able to follow the athletes at the events. And really, I think he just tries to make it to the point that you can see the athletes in their best performance possible, meaning like he's just really trying to showcase what the athletes can do.
Well, it was a really neat sort of moment for me. I was at the 7th buoy at Lake 38. It was either last year or the year before. Yeah. And I was getting ready to, as I'm always doing when I'm there, trying to interview the skiers, 2-3 skiers before they go out, and everyone's got much more relaxed about, me being there sticking the big mic in their face. But I went to interview Fred Winter, and he was sitting in the 7th buoy with maybe 10 or 12 other skiers, some of the Pro-Am skiers, some of the other pros, and we were watching the webcast in big flat screen, HD, super slow-mo replays, different camera angles, and then next thing, we got lifestyle shots of the audience, lifestyle shots of the next athlete on the dock, sort of getting their mojo on. And so it was sort of the first time I sat at an event and watched it as well. So it was really cool. Thank you for all you do, Vince, Tony, the whole crew. It's super special. So with that, before we go any further, though, you got to tell me about your coffee that you made.
The coffee. Yeah, it's a process. It's a setup.
He's a professional. So I'm just going to let him. He's got the mic and take off.
No, it's like anything I do. I get too deep in the rabbit hole and then I'm stuck and I got no way out. So I got to keep making it like that. It evolved, but right now I'm drinking Chemex for the most part. I have the beans. I grind them. I wet the filter. I do all the good stuff. So anyways. Long story short, I like good coffee.
It is. It's actually cool to watch because I'm a coffee guy as well. And thank you guys for voting on my social media page. Hopefully going to have my dark roast coming soon. A little.
Wow.
Yeah. So that sort of.
You'll have to send me a bag.
And I'm into it. And I love it. You obviously hear me talk about with CP because we've been sort of on the coffee deal for years. So,
yeah.
So okay, let's jump back to the beginning. Do you remember the first time you water skied?
No, so I don't remember the first time I water skied. It's a funny one. So like I said, my grandfather ran a ski school, so he taught my dad how to ski. My dad loved skiing, so he skied all his life. Met my mom through skiing. And so really as a kid, story goes, or the pictures I've seen, is my parents put me on skis when I was a kiddo. I think maybe I was around 3 years old. There's a lot of other people out there that skied that young. But I don't particularly remember that as a 3-year-old skiing, if I'm being honest.
No, you wouldn't. No, because my son did the same. He was 2.5 or 3, and no memory at all.
I don't remember that, but apparently I loved it, and I'm still there skiing right now. So I didn't really look back from there. It's always been a part of my life, so I don't really know what it's like to be living and not skiing.
Right.
But I feel like I didn't get much of a say in choosing the sport I'm in, but I'm very glad that I really have enjoyed the whole process. Right. And I feel very lucky to have been able to be, in a way, put in such a sport.
Right, for sure.
So I have no say in the sense that, I got into it because I wanted to.
But no regrets.
But I'm very happy that I got into it, and I'm still in it and still enjoy it a lot. So
do you remember first tournament?
Yeah, so that I do. So I ballpark started skiing when I was 3, and then my first tournament was at the club we used to ski at when I was a kiddo. I was 7. I skied. I think I missed my opener, or I remember I missed my opener because that was the big deal, like make your opener. I didn't. I was tiny. I was going slow. I was nervous, man. And so anyway, first round I missed my opener. I'm like, oh my God, this is the end of the world.
It really is.
And then next thing you know, you have another round. Yeah. And then I remember skiing really well at the second round. I don't know what I did. I don't remember the score, but I ran a couple of up and downs.
Up and back.
Yeah. And when I was a kiddo, we would ski and you would spin on the ends in tournaments. Like there was no dropping. And I got to the point where I would really maybe run 5 or 6 passes in tournaments. And so we'd go spin, and then finally drop because I have to shorten at this point. So it was cool. It was very, very neat deal.
Hey, for all you really spoiled, entitled young people or new people to the sport, and even if you go off on your first pass and you make 4 buoys, not 6, the boat driver just stops you. No, in Ben's day when he was a kid, if you started at 28 miles an hour and you were going to shorten at 34, once you went down, back, and had run 4 passes consecutively, then you stopped. And now your heart rate, you felt like you were climbing this mountain right here. And then, you barely could even sort of fathom going again, but yet next thing the boat's tight and then you
the
took
lake's
off.
all over the place.
Yeah.
You're at your hardest patch. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? But anyways, we didn't know any better. So
Hey, so let's talk about growing up in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Tell me about this mountain. That's why we sort of set up here. We're in Ben's house, and he's got some really cool art, some really cool furniture, but this is an awesome piece.
yeah, so that's iconic mountain in Switzerland. I'm originally from Geneva, but this is the Matterhorn. So for you chocolate lovers, it's the Toblerone mountain. They call it Cervino Matterhorn. And yeah, it's beautiful. So since we're here in Florida, I like to have a little piece of home, to look at every day.
Well, so let's a little bit of history about Switzerland. Red Cross started there, hence the flag, correct?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very, very nice country to grow up in. I feel extremely fortunate that I was able to go to school in Switzerland. You don't realize that until you travel, because for you it's just normal. But no, I felt very fortunate. Had good friendships, very good school, and I got to ski a bunch in the summer and in the winter. So that was really, really neat experience to grow up. And then as far as the water skiing goes, I had an extremely good time because we would ski really hard in the summers. But then as you grow older, you don't get to ski throughout the entire winter, which I think as a junior was okay. It's completely fine. And I got really lucky because I would do other things in the winter, like snow skiing, which I like a lot. But there comes a point where, for me at least, I need to improve to be able to catch the pack, or to be able to, if I wanted to make it, I'd have to make a move and ski year round. And so that's kind of my transition to US and going to the University of Louisiana Lafayette when I was 19 to college was, hey, I need to go to America. I need to go to, Louisiana and then Florida probably to make a push and ski year round. And that really helped my skiing, and it really helped me break into the pro scene. I don't think I could have unless I had made the transition.
So let's talk about that. So once you left Switzerland, which is like possibly the nicest standard of living in the world.
Pretty good.
It is one of the best, because I got to go there as a junior. I think I was like 20 years old and skied against your father
cool.
at Bourg-en-Bresse.
Yeah. So I grew up skiing in Bourg-en-Bresse when I was a kiddo, and then Dommartin, which is right next to it. Right. So that's the area, exactly.
So yeah, our whole group, we landed in Geneva, and we spent the day there. And after we went to, I can't remember, it was either McDonald's or Wendy's one, and it was like $30. And we're like, wow, this is a really expensive.
I don't know if it's still the case, but it used to be a couple of years back. I haven't looked since. Switzerland has the most expensive Big Mac. So you know the Big Mac index. Yeah. It might have changed by now, but last time I had checked, it was Switzerland. Yeah.
So let's talk about the culture shock. You go from there to from where we talked about the mountains.
Yeah.
Chocolates.
Yeah.
Watches. All the best watches are from Switzerland.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you're in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And no offense to Louisiana, because I grew up next to Arkansas, but you talk about a world of difference, literally.
Yeah, it was different. And I was 19, and it wasn't just, you go there for 2 weeks. I did 4 years. I went through the schooling system, and I'm not the only one. A lot of other European have done it. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I think the reason I really enjoyed it was mainly because I was seeing it through the skiing perspective. Right. So I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much without the skiing. That's hard to know. But I go there, to your point, very big cultural differences. But I had an absolute blast. The people were very, very friendly, very welcoming. The food was really good. It was different, but it was really good. I'm a huge fan of crawfish. I miss it a lot.
Yeah.
So the crawfish boils, the atmosphere. I had a really good friend of mine I went to high school with, happened to go to school in Tulane in New Orleans. So once in a while I'd go see him on the weekends. So that was really neat. And then as far as the skiing went, I mean, I was at school, school was paying for fuel. I could ski as much as I wanted. We had a good team, a lot of people very motivated to ski. So there was always somebody at the lake to ski with.
Louisiana Lafayette.
Exactly, ULL. Yeah. And I mean, I had an absolute blast. I just skied my ass off that first semester.
And so tell the common folk how different it was coming from Europe, where water skiing is very expensive. You
Yeah.
think it's expensive here. It's really expensive in Europe.
Yeah.
To next thing you're in Louisiana with a boat and gas, go ski all you want.
Yeah, no, it was a huge change, and it was really fun because, to your point, like in Europe, it's very club based, so you have to pay a membership, and then you got to pay usually per minute of skiing.
Per minute, yeah.
And so but I didn't know any better. That's just the environment I grew up in, and now I'm at school and I'm skiing with people that are the same age I am. We're about 20 almost. All with a similar goal of trying to get better, trying to push it forward, and in really good weather, because that's the main part. I mean, in Switzerland, summers are short. They're nice, but they're not that nice. And now I'm in Louisiana, and I can ski basically in December, and it's hotter than it is in August in Switzerland. So no, that was great, and it really, really helped my skiing.
Well, so let's fast forward to one of the podiums that Benjamin made. And so this was Hilltop. It was actually my very first TWBC event to do. And you came third. And I think Fred Winter won the event. And we go out on the Sunday night, and we're in downtown Bellevue, Washington, and
the Cactus.
Yes, and we take over an outdoor table, and it was a Sunday night, and there might or might not have been some adult beverages flowing, but when I knew this young man had storytelling capabilities, this was it. You started telling stories about you and Freddie and Corey Vaughn going to Moomba.
Oh yeah, that was a trip.
You don't have to go into detail or even rehash, but if you ever get the chance, to listen to him tell a story, it was legit. One of the best ever.
Yeah, thanks, Wade. Coming from you, it means a lot. Thank you.
So well, that's it. I've been told. So he is wonderful to hang around. A super good young man. So let's change directions completely, and ask you sort of, hey, do a little homework for me. So if you had to ask me questions.
Oh yeah.
Let's maybe go back a few years, or you're thinking, like, as you have a few years left, fire away. A couple questions for me.
No, I was, you've had an amazing career, a very long career. We talked about it, just before the podcast, actually, that you skied competitively over 20 years. And so I think for not just myself, but other skiers and people that are going through the pro ranks, or even the audience, I'm sure would be curious to know, how did that look for you as far as your evolution as an athlete? Because I'm sure from the start of your career to the end, as far as on the water or even off the water, the process to be as good as you can be probably changed, right? Or did it stay the same your entire 20 years, where that was your routine, you did that many sets a week, you did it in this fashion? Or did, as the years went on and as your career evolved, did you have to change as an athlete to get the same result? If that makes sense.
Massively.
Okay.
Yes. There were a few things that I was very blessed that happened. I started skiing with Carl Roberge.
Yeah.
When I was 18, right out of high school, and that winter was like a life's lesson.
Yeah.
Just watching him.
Yeah.
And then he convinced me I needed to get a trainer, that there's somebody that has more knowledge about your body than you do. And let them guide you. And so that was huge. And so I made different changes along the way as my body sort of changed, or maybe I thought I needed different things out of my body. Right or wrong.
You never know.
Same as you said, sometimes I would get, micro-focused, and then I would get maybe off the path that I should have been on.
Yeah, I think it's very easy as an athlete to maybe get hyper-focused and really, just see it too narrowly. And I think sometimes it's important to zoom back out.
But it's so hard.
But it's really hard in the moment.
The old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees.
No, it's true.
So, but the on water changed immensely as well.
Okay.
from where I never free skied to where I free skied some in the spring to where eventually at the end of my career, I was free skiing 3 days before an event.
Yeah. Because you were comfortable with that.
Because I knew at that point that it was more about the feeling of being on the ski.
Yeah.
And the way the ski would move and the way I would move. And I was already relating it to the way I coach now is let's make it more like a golf swing or a football throw or a tennis swing where there's movement with a reason, but without thought.
Yeah.
And if I could just sort of use my visuals and then the free skiing was sort of like this thing that you didn't have the visuals.
Yeah.
There's no pre-gates, no gates, no buoys. And so there was an old Italian champion, Robbie Zucchi.
Yeah.
And it was a, hey, Robbie. So it was this famous thing that Robbie could run the slalom course with his eyes closed. Yeah. And I was like,
the skier,
wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
So then what I sort of was relating it to is like, if I could free ski and run the course without buoys, and if you add the buoys and you go, oh, that's exactly, then it'll be even better. So that part sort of changed significantly. And even though I still needed the buoy count, what changed was
you didn't need it in practice. You knew it would come at the tournament.
No, exactly.
If you had the right movement.
There was a certain group, they watched me try skis, and it was actually right before your very last, the very last time I skied, which was right across the way here.
Yeah.
At the Waterski Shootout, which is on the back lake of the Swiss vacation resort here. So I tried different skis. We'd just come out of the Masters. I didn't want to ride that ski. And then I jumped back on that ski and I did 4 32 offs.
Yeah.
On the back lake over there, 2 days before the event. Down and back. And on the third and fourth one, I found my exact balance point, where my feet were, the way I was moving. And then I was like, okay, that's it. So the group comes up after the tournament. They're like, dude, how could you run 32 off on the ski and know you could run 39 and 41 on it? Yeah. And I just said, well, it was just because the feel. It was all just same as if I swung a golf club a few times and I hit, 3 wedges or 3 7-irons. I was like, yeah, that's my swing. Yeah. So I was good to go.
I could definitely relate to that because for me personally as a skier, I go very much off of feel. And I have a pretty clear picture in my brain of the kind of feeling I'm looking for on the water. And that's why I am so interested, for example, in the ski and the ski development and working with HO has been huge in that. Because if I'm not getting the feeling I look for or I know I need or want, I'm going to work towards it. Yeah. I'm going to get there, but I'm very much feeling based. So I can relate to that because I'm not so much, I need to hit these positions as far as like where my body's at in space. Right or wrong, I'm very based off of feeling. And if I get the correct feeling and then I feed off of that, that's what's always worked out best for me. So I can definitely relate to some of what you're saying.
Well, what I love is when I get an amateur and I'm coaching them and the planets align, whatever.
Yeah. It just.
But what happens is they get to the sweet spot on the ski, and it's through some.
Yeah, sometimes you got to manipulate the body position to get the correct feeling.
Or manipulate the timing in the gait just a little bit, just to sort of get the tools in the right place.
Yeah.
But the neat thing, and you saying based on feel, that's the only thing I could ultimately go back and rely on was when it feels like that, when you hook up and it's light and it's fast. Yeah. And then you're early with space, it's good. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
It's fun, right? That's why I feed off so much of the feeling is because for me personally, that's my favorite part. So it's that that ultimate skiing where it just feels so fun because you're doing it right. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
It's way more fun when you're doing it right.
Right. So yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, it changed tremendously. And then at the very end of my career, Will Lasher actually came up to me and he was like, man, how can you ski so little?
Yeah.
And then a few years back, we're standing outside. I think we're going to do a flow point thing with Marcus. And Will goes, hey, do you remember me saying that? He goes, I'm starting to figure it out. Like
I'm there.
It's more about doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And if you're only going to do 4 passes, 13, 12, 11, 10, 7, and you go out and you execute them, do you really need to do it 4 more times or 8 more times?
Yeah. At this point,
No. Exactly. If you're later in the season, your body's fresh, you want to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So that was more, because that was detrimental to me midway through my career, was overtraining, just
doing it too much,
just not trusting.
Yeah. It's a lot to let go, right?
It is. And then it Oski, my first win and only win in Australia.
Yeah.
It was the sort of that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I hadn't been doing this, because I skipped practice again.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of been hit or miss about, should I practice at an event or not?
Yeah. It's a hard thing to understand sometimes.
Should I get the visual, or like Mike Ferraro was my childhood coaches would say, once you have the visual, you have it.
Yeah. It's there.
Do you really need to go back out and get it 4 more times if you already know? So I'd already skied at Oski the year before. I was like, you know what? My back is just right on the edge of being tweaked. I'm just going to go do my little warm up like I'm going to ski. And then I didn't ski. And then I won on the weekend. And I was like, well, that's why I won, because I trusted that newer instinct that I had that I wish I would have had, midway through.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you miss it?
No, I really don't, Ben. It's funny when I'm standing down there on a final and you guys are all got your game
Jacked
face
up.
on. Yes, exactly. And I know how the emotion involved with you guys, but yeah, for me, it's neat to be part of the experience now and be part of it, but not be
in it in the same way.
Yeah, in the same way. So
I believe you.
shoot me another question.
Yeah, cool. No, it's been absolutely amazing to be able to, get to know you. I've really learned a lot, from you through your stories and all of that. So that's been a really, really neat deal. And then for maybe us and the audience, what was your favorite part about competing or being an athlete? Was it the training? Was it the day-to-day process? Was it the Sunday finals? What was it that you liked most when you were really, through the peak of your career? Was it the wins? Was it the day-to-day? Was it the drive? Every day you got to figure it out. You got to push through.
That's interesting, Ben. I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that specific question.
I'm not saying it's easy, man.
No, and it's not an easy question. I almost needed to sleep on this last night. But we are having coffee, and it is Florida, so we showered and we put on our water ski t-shirts, and then we're barefoot with board shorts on. So I did enjoy that part of my life, that if I shaved or not, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
If I dressed up or not, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the process. I even heard, I'm a huge cycling fan. I heard Lance, as bad as Lance can be hated, he's still a beloved hero to some. My sister was a cancer victim. So but I heard Lance say this, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. He goes, man, I just enjoy seeing if it's going to work again.
Yeah.
Because even if you,
because it's a puzzle.
Even if something goes good, well, now you got to go back and do it again.
Can I do it again?
Yeah. And
is it going to take the same things to get to the same result?
And then things changed over time. Technology changed.
Yeah.
The sport, how much everyone trained was changing. But there was a certain sensation, and sometimes a relief, sometimes a sensation in making the cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
because I said once in an old video, I think it was with Todd Bristicelli, I said, man, making the cut is so hard. In men's slalom, you get this wicked deep field, like really, really deep, not taken any way from the other events, but men's slalom, historically, huge deep field. But there was a certain feeling in winning for me that wasn't about I kicked anyone's ass or, look at me.
You. Yeah, no, it was just
there was a sense that, I did it, accomplishment, but there was almost a sense of, I don't know, Ben, I almost want to say disbelief that I could leave the event and go to the airport and I would have this feeling like, dude, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
And it's like I grew up water skiing, sort of similar story to you. I didn't have the ski school, but we grew up camping. And then all I remember is skiing, but I never was like, I'm going to be the best. That's what I want to do. So
that's
the
cool.
fact that it
became
eventually evolved through my teens. Yeah. It was like, wow, holy cow.
Now on that Sunday, you are the best.
Yeah. No, and now, holding the mic, it's like, I can't believe sometimes I'll see old photos and go, I can't believe I did that. It was just so far away from.
Yeah, it's
it's been 2 decades, since I've been on the water, so.
I can believe that because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of, so I can definitely understand that part. So you're saying basically, if I'm getting it right, you're saying kind of basically the feeling of, hey, I've overcome all of this. I've made it. This is a really neat feeling. Not because I've beat everybody else. Or because I did what I didn't think I could do.
Yeah, I think that was it. Or it was this one person is going to win.
Yeah.
That's it.
For somebody to win, everybody else got to lose, right?
Everybody's got, exactly. And so, that was always I didn't cheer for people to lose. I wasn't that guy. I was always, if I didn't make the cut, it was my fault.
Yeah.
It was all on me.
Yeah.
But there was a certain, maybe I got it from my father. Maybe I got it from my mother. But there was a certain, we say in the South, grit, determination. I don't know. I just realized I had it.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, I realized I had it. And I was like, well, I can do certain things some people can't. It was a gift. So, it was neat to like, for me, like I didn't ever take steroids. It was like, I want to be true to the system.
Oh yeah.
I want it, when I win, I want it to be like, I really did give it everything. I pushed it, as far as I could push it.
Yeah.
And then it was that much more rewarding on the backside. Yeah.
That drive every week.
Yeah.
And then the success on the weekend and then the drive again the next week.
Yeah. Cause it was, so you just had to hit the reset button. You had to, manage that. But as far as my, that totality of why I did it. I think ultimately was it, all of that was encompassed in it.
Yeah, of course.
You had to enjoy it.
And that was a tough question, by the way.
Yeah, no, it really was. No, that's actually really good. You got one more?
Well, did that evolve over the years? Did it change or did it remain the same?
What really changed was my children.
Okay.
When I'd been
Change
on
your
a
perspective on it?
It did 100%. My body was starting to fail me a little bit. I'd already been basically a decade of either chasing Andy, or for a short time he chased me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Parrish and Beauchesne, these guys are getting better and better and better.
They're real good suddenly.
And so then 98, my daughter was born, and by 2000, things were really changing in the industry. I was a Mastercraft skier, so I knew the Pro Tour was going to go away after 2001. Yeah. So, my goals in life changed, and so I was always a surfing fan, and I'm a amateur average surfer at best. But the first time Kelly Slater took a retirement away from, which I only retired once, didn't come back, never was going to come back, didn't do 3, 4. No, I'm one and done, dude. That's it. But what I made a significant difference was when Kelly came back off his first retirement, he said, I just want to enjoy the places I go to.
Yeah.
Because I'd gotten where I was miserable.
And I'm sure, I mean, I can't speak for Kelly, but I'm sure that probably evolved throughout his career, right? I'm sure maybe when he was 19, 20, it wasn't the same. It wasn't like, I'm going to go there to enjoy the spot. As competitive as he is.
But you can even think about like your trips with the boys
exactly
to Moomba when you're 20, you know, man, and you're free, and then all of a sudden 10 years later your life is totally different and you're just simply there to win the tournament now. You're not going to enjoy your dinner, maybe. You're not necessarily going to enjoy your hotel. You're not necessarily in Geneva, Switzerland or Melbourne, Australia to go tour around and do sightseeing. So I was like, man, I'm not enjoying this. It's becoming
because the perspective's changing.
So then my kids just completely enlightened me, and I was like,
made you zoom out a little bit.
It did, and so then what I really wanted to do is when my mates won, you know, like CP won or Jamie won, I wanted to be on, you know, give them a fist bump because that was cool, man, and I wanted them to sort of feel the genuineness coming from me because I would certainly be like the biggest hypocrite ever if I didn't repay that when, there were a few years before when I was on the podium that everyone wanted to be on, and there was that certain crew giving me the fist bumps going, Coxie, man, you did it. And so that was very rewarding for me to sort of go, well, hey, I made a final. Get that back. And then it got to be where top 5 was top 3. Yeah. And then top 3 was a win. Yeah. Because I'm like, you know, I mean, you know, that's like, I think that sort of perspective allowed me to enjoy it more.
Which is great. I think it's very, very important. And I mean, you have gone through over 20 years of skiing. You grow as a person. And so you have to grow as an athlete as well. And I think those two need to match. And sometimes I think it's hard to make a match. And I think sometimes
it really is.
You might not be at the same growth as an athlete as you are personally. Yeah. And I don't mean the performance. I just mean like to your point, the zooming out. Yeah. And I think getting to align those two, to your point, and then you get a better balance. You can still enjoy it and then still find a good reason, you know, for it. So
enough about me. Let's talk about you, and let's give me some short-term goals and some long-term goals for the rest of your career.
So I'm 30 right now. You know, I've been...
He's just a baby.
Yeah, exactly. In some ways I feel old. In some ways I feel real young and strong, you know. But ballpark, I've been competing... I started competing when I was 7 through the junior ranks. And then professionally, ballpark 19, 20. So it's been 10 years now. I've learned a lot. I've pushed it really hard. I really enjoy pushing really hard. I think I need to understand how to grow as an athlete. My short-term goals, I mean, obviously we have the Worlds coming up at Jack's. That's going to be, I think, a really, really good event. I think it'll be really, really competitive. 2 years ago was probably the most competitive tournament we've ever had. I don't think it's going to be any different this time. I think, if anything, it'll be more. So that's the short-term goal. Now, what's the goal there? Honestly, it's hard to know. More go there, put your best foot forward, have a good performance. I think those are the goals. The long-term goal for me, in a way, is the same it's always been. It just becomes clearer and clearer, and it's move the ball forward. It means get better technically. It means get better physically. And when I say physically, I mean, you know, I've done some biking. I've been to the gym. I've lifted weights. I'm not saying I'm the fittest I've ever been, but I have a foundation. So now being fitter doesn't necessarily mean lift more weights. I think being fitter, to your point, is understand my body a little bit better, understanding where it is that I have weaknesses or imbalances. When is it that I need to push more or less? So when I say get better in that sense, I don't necessarily mean go to the gym more. I've done a lot of that, and I've pushed a lot.
Sometimes it means go less.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
Understand it better, and then keep moving the ball forward on the skis. You know, I that's something I really enjoy. My brain's always been geared towards the feeling, but a lot of the feeling in our sport comes from the equipment: the ski, the fin, the boot, the boat, the rope, the gloves. They're just accessories to give you that feeling. So you can work on your technique. That's great. But if your ski doesn't work,
there's a lot more variables.
No purpose. So I'm not saying I don't want to work on my technique. I want to improve my technique, my physique, my equipment, get a better feeling, and ultimately just better performance, man. That's the long-term goal. And the reason for that, I think it comes from a spot of it's just more fun. Like skiing at the outer limits of the sport is more fun. And looking at my competitor, the limits are above me right now. And so there's still room to go. And so the long-term goal for me is just keep doing what I've been doing for the past 10 years, but do it better, do it with a bigger understanding, and just so that I can have more fun on the water. Right. I think those are really the goals.
So let's talk about off the water and some stuff you do. Not water ski related, but you finished a project here at your house. Yeah. And I tried to Airbnb it out for the upcoming World Championships, but tell us about your project that you finished.
Yeah, we got the studio. So I'm lucky enough to live at Swiss here. We run the ski school, my mom and dad. We really enjoy that. I've got a really nice house that I'm very, very fortunate, and built a studio in the backyard. So it's up for grabs. It's for rent.
It's like a standalone apartment.
An
efficiency.
It's an all-encompassing unit. You can cook, shower, a king-size bed. It's pretty neat, and it's really fun. It's right by the dock,
and it's a lot of people sweet. I checked it out sort of as you laid the foundation, the walls, and I came back on another trip, and you're finishing up the inside, and then the last trip. Boom, it was done, and it's beautiful. If you can get on the list, you can contact him, and you obviously can't get it for the Worlds. I got denied as well, but I mean, it's literally 200 feet from the starting dock.
It's not far, But that comes back to like growing as a person as well, is like, I mean, in my 20s, like I could not see anything else but skiing, right? And in a way, I still can't. Like I'm still a bit too zoomed in. But I think like I understand that if I want to do it in the long term, I need to have other things outside of it that, keep my day-to-day productive, also can bring an income. Because, skiing, and I feel I'm very lucky that I'm supported by a company like HO Sports. They put a lot of pride in supporting their athletes. And I think I'm very fortunate to be a part of that group. But I think it's important since, we're not in the NFL, we're not in the NBA. I think it's important to have other things that keep you going as well, because I think it can make it easier to keep it going. And when I mean keep it going, I mean keep the dream alive, keep pushing, keep moving the ball forward. And I think in a sport like ours, where you're not making millions, the more you can have, the more chances you have of staying in it and it being healthy.
We need revenue streams, right? Yeah. Hey, so let's talk about something else off the water that's changing in your life. You're going to get married soon.
Yeah. Sam and I. So we're going to get married in March. We're super excited. I'm very, very happy, to have been able to find a partner that really understands me, helps me, supports me, help me grow. We get to ski together. So now we're over the moon, and we're very excited. Yeah.
So if you don't know, his girlfriend is Samantha Damala, and she's been junior masters slalom champ. Was she junior world champ?
Probably. She's a champ.
Champ. Yeah. Well, made
too long to remember.
Made the world's final, the last worlds at Jack's.
Came fourth.
So I mean, it's very nice to have that understanding. You just said it. She understands what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I can understand what she's trying to accomplish. So she's going through the med school as well while trying to ski. So talk again about doing more than one thing, not just the skiing. And so I think, it's an interesting relationship because I think I can really understand her drive and she can really understand my focus in a way. And I think we can help each other in that sense by just support each other. Right, and I think sometimes you need somebody that's going to be on a similar understanding. Otherwise, it's too difficult.
Yeah, because slalom skiing in particular can be a very lonely sport, right?
Yeah. No, but so it's been great, and we're very happy to tie the knot and move forward. Because I think it's for me personally, it's just something very nice, and I'm very happy we get to do it. Yeah.
Well, I'll take the shot and throw it up on the web again on social media, but. Her dad took a photo, Mike Damala, who I've known for ages and ages and ages.
It's in the guest room.
Yeah. So
Wade's leaving the guest room. It's in there.
It's sort of us waiting on a TWBC take.
Yeah.
And we're just watching the replay. We're watching the replay down at the VIP start dock. So it was a cool shot, and it was kind of neat. The cover that Sam's on. There's another photo around the house somewhere, and there's a little article.
Wade Cox Hall of Fame on it.
I stopped and looked at the photo. I didn't realize that my name was on that photo all those years.
Yeah. No.
It's sort of a neat deal. I feel like I'm part of the family. We had webcast dinner 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Last year when I was here for the Swiss.
Yeah.
The entire family, we all eat together. So it's been a neat deal. So, hey, before we wrap up though, let's do some quick world's predictions let's do men's slalom and jump. Let's do men's jump first.
I'm not a jumper, so I can't talk jump. I can't relate. I mean, you've got your usual suspects, Freddie's an absolute legend of the sport. I don't understand how you jump 230 plus feet in the first place, let alone, his longevity.
Ever. Yeah.
So that's just unbelievable. I'm just very excited to watch him compete at this Worlds. I believe he might be the oldest athlete to be entered at the Worlds. I might be wrong, but if he's not, he's definitely one of them. So that's just really, really impressive. I mean, Ryan, obviously.
Ryan Dodd.
We know the mission he's on. He's on his way to his 5th, or that's his goal. He's got 4, I believe, 4 in a row. Which is mind-blowing. If he gets the 5th, he would tie Freddie. And then,
would also tie Jacinta Carroll, who had 5 consecutive world championships in ladies jump.
Yeah. So that's unbelievable. And then you have all the young guns pushing, your Jack Critchleys and Taylor and
Joel Poland.
And then Dorian coming back from his knee. But I think it's going to be, it's men's jump. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, the Miranda brothers. Yeah, I mean, we got just so many.
Exactly. Yeah. Then in the slalom, I mean, predictions. I think if we're going to talk cuts,
you get to take yourself out of this because you can't vote for yourself.
No, I'm not going to vote for myself. But on a more broad term, I mean, the Worlds used to be ballpark 4:39. You would make the cut. That was all the Worlds I'd done. I did my first Worlds in 2009 in Canada, and I believe Jodie Fisher was the last in with 3.25 at 39. Then from there on, it was anywhere between 4. Sometimes you'd have to do a runoff. I did a runoff with CP at the Worlds in Mexico. He edged me out, and I came 13th, and I had 4 at 39. And then I didn't make any predictions for the Worlds last year. I don't really work like that. I just practice, I ski, I ski against myself, and then I see where I land. So I wasn't really thinking about even the cut at the Worlds at Jack's last year. Or 2 years ago, sorry. And it happened to be 2:41 in the end. And actually it was more because with 2:41 you were in a runoff. And I tell you, you did not want to be in that runoff. Because if you were in that runoff, it became harder to qualify than on the stock round.
Yes. Same as the bronze medal ended up being
way
harder to win
the
2nd, 3rd, 4th times than it was initially.
No. So as far as the prediction goes, I think it won't take less than 2. There's no way. We're 2 years later. People are pushing more. Gear's more refined. Everything's more dialed. So it'll be 2+. So I think it's possible. It's not impossible that everyone's going to have to run 3. It's very possible.
To finish 12th position.
Yeah, it's not impossible. Yes. I'm not saying that's what it's going to take, but my prediction is it's not going to take less than 2. Yeah. And it could take 3. That's for the cuts. And then for the win, I mean, it's really Nate's to lose. I mean, that's pretty, I'm not, going out on a limb by saying that. He's a 3 times world champion now. It'd be huge if he won that one for himself. He's a dominant force in the sport. Now, your 4 usual suspects, we all know them.
Yeah, I was just going to.
You know what I mean? You have the generation, really, the I call them the last Mohicans, are Will and T-Gas. They're over 40.
2 world champions each. And then I think Will's got 7 podiums at Worlds. And Worlds are every 2 years, right? So that's 14 years of being on the podium. And I think Thomas is very similar.
Yeah. I mean, these two are absolute studs.
And then Fred's got...
The other 2 usual suspects are Freddie and Nate. Generation about 10 years younger, not just maybe 8 years younger. Freddie's got a Worlds as well. And I think the Waterski Pro Tour released a stat saying that these 4 I just named are the 4 that have been winning events since 2019, pretty much. No one's been able to push in and break it. So those are your 4 usual suspects. You'd expect landing towards the top of the pack. Yeah. Not all 4 are going to land 1 to 4, but you'd have, to get above those 4, all 4 of them, you really got to make a big push, if that makes sense.
Well, no, I can completely relate to the plight that the rest of the field has, because when I was trying to make it into that group was Andy Mapple, Bob LaPointe, Carl Roberts, Mike Shaylander. Yeah. All 4 of them had a professional season title. 84, 5, 6, 7, all 4 of them won in different years in a row. So we're all sitting there going, man, look, it was almost like the figureheads.
Yeah. Like, they're on the mountain, man. They're on there.
Like, you literally, that's it. You had to. That was part of the reason I wanted to set that shot here. It is the climb. There's even that Miley Cyrus song about the climb, and it's like, well, man, and I can relate the same. You think, oh man, I'm getting better technically, and the next thing you get a PB, and then everybody else gets better as well. You go, geez, I got to go get better again. You know?
And then the thing, we've just named those 4, but you take everybody else in the field after that is extremely, extremely competitive.
Joel Halley, former world champion.
Everybody. I'm not going to start naming names because honestly, there's too many.
There's too many.
But everybody is extremely competitive. And what happens is those 4 have kind of separated themselves a little bit, whether we like it or not. And to your point, the pack gets better, they get better. And so, because they're competitive, like we all are. And so I think it's going to be a beautiful Worlds. I think if you're around, you should definitely come, watch, sit, learn, be in it. Whether it's men's slalom, women's slalom, tricks, women's jump, men's jump, whichever event, I think it's going to be an absolute blast. And I think it's going to be the most competitive. It is, and it's because it's right now, it's in Florida, it's on a good site, and everyone's going to be there. So you should be there too.
And we got TWBC that's going to cover it. So we're going to get
Wade will be on the mic.
We're going to get all the camera angles. Well, hey, thanks, Ben. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, so guys, go to my website.
Protect yourself from the sun.
Exactly, from the sun. We got cool sun hoodies in 3 different colors, T-shirts in 3 different colors, and I'm going to present my man, Ben, right here, with the Ski with Wade shirt.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. So, all my merch, tour dates, and all my old podcasts, including this one, will be on there, skiwithwade.com. So, again, thanks so much, Ben. It's just been a real pleasure.
No, thank you, Wade. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Ski with Wade. Cut more rope. That's a wrap this week for Ski with Wade podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to email me at wade@skiwithwade.com or direct message me on Instagram or Facebook with any questions you may have. We'll cut more rope next week. Ski with Wade.